When my daughter Lily came home from school that Tuesday afternoon, I almost didn't recognize her, not because of her hair or her clothes, or even the slump of her shoulders from carrying that too heavy backpack. No, it was her eyes. They weren't hers. At first, I couldn't put my finger on it. They were the same shade, the same size, set in the same freckled face I'd kissed 1,000 times. But when she looked at me, something deep inside me recoiled. It felt like I was being watched by a stranger. "Hi, Daddy," she said, dropping her backpack on the floor. Her voice was normal, sweet, familiar, but her gaze didn't leave mine. Usually she was a bundle of distractions when she got home. Snacks, toys, cartoons. But today she just stood there, staring. Her pupils dilated slowly, unnaturally, as though adjusting to a darkness that wasn't there. "Everything okay at school?" I asked, forcing a smile. She nodded, but her eyes didn't blink. Not once. That night at dinner, I tried to shake it off. Kids change, I told myself. Growth spurts, new phases. Maybe I was just tired. But when Lily picked up her fork, she didn't look at her plate. She looked at me. The entire meal she ate without breaking eye contact. Every bite, every chew, every swallow. I dropped my fork halfway through, unable to stomach the food. Her lips curled into a small smile. Not cruel, not mocking, just knowing. Like she'd caught me in some unspoken game I didn't remember starting. I tried to talk to my wife about it after Lily went to bed. "Kids get weird sometimes," she said, brushing it off. Maybe she's just experimenting, copying things she saw at school. But she hadn't seen what I saw. At one point during dinner, Lily's eyes had shifted. Not her head, just her eyes. They rolled sideways, watching something behind me, while her face stayed perfectly still, her smile frozen. And when I turned to look, there was nothing there. That night, I woke up thirsty. I padded into the kitchen, poured a glass of water, and nearly dropped it when I saw her. Lily, sitting at the kitchen table in the dark. Her hands were folded neatly in front of her, her face aimed at the floor. But her eyes were locked on me the instant I entered the room. She didn't move, didn't speak, just stared. Her pupils swallowed her irises until they were bottomless pools of black. I wanted to scream, to wake my wife, to demand answers. But before I could, Lily stood, chair scraping loud against the tile. She walked past me without a word, her gaze following me until she disappeared into the hallway. And for the first time in my life, I realized I was afraid of my own daughter. The next morning, I kept telling myself it had been a dream. Stress, late nights, too much caffeine. Parents imagine things all the time. But when Lily came down for breakfast, that feeling of dread washed over me again. She sat at the table, folded her hands neatly, and didn't touch her food. Her cereal went soggy in the bowl. "Eat, honey," I said gently. She tilted her head, eyes locked on me, and then she blinked, slowly, deliberately, as if she had finally remembered that blinking was something humans were supposed to do. On the drive to school, I tried to pry something out of her. "How's Ms. Carson?" I asked. "She doesn't like being called that anymore," Lily answered flatly. I frowned. "What do you mean?" "She's been Ms. Carson for years. She says names don't matter. They're just shells." The word sent a chill through me. That wasn't how a 7-year-old talked. "Who told you that?" I asked, my voice catching. Her new eyes flicked toward me. "You'll see." That night I locked our bedroom door. My wife rolled her eyes, thinking I was being paranoid about break-ins. But it wasn't burglars I was afraid of. It was the sound of small feet padding down the hallway at 3 a.m. Stopping, outside our door, pausing there, and then the slow, deliberate scraping of nails across the wood. No knocking, just scratching, like she wanted to remind me she was out there and that she knew I was awake. I begged my wife to notice, to see what I was seeing, but she brushed everything off. Kids are weird. Kids test boundaries. Kids play strange games. But one night, she saw it too. We were watching TV when Lily walked into the room, She didn't say a word. She just stood in the doorway, half her face hidden in shadow. "Sweetheart, are you okay?" my wife asked. Lily smiled, but her eyes didn't. And then, without moving her lips, she whispered something. My wife froze. "Did you hear that?" "Yes," I said, my heart pounding. But Lily's mouth hadn't opened. The whispers grew louder. At night, they bled through the walls. My name, my secrets, my thoughts I had never spoken aloud. It was like those eyes weren't just looking at me, they were looking into me. One night I couldn't take it anymore. I stormed into her room, determined to get answers. "Who are you?" I demanded, standing over her bed. Lily rolled over slowly, her face pale in the moonlight. Her eyes opened, huge, black, endless. "You already know," she whispered, and then she smiled with teeth that weren't hers. I don't remember leaving the room. I don't remember collapsing on the couch, shaking until dawn. But when I woke, her backpack was gone. She had gone to school on her own. My wife swore she'd walked her to the bus stop. But when I drove to the school in a panic, the teacher told me Lily hadn't been there for days. She looked at me with pity, like I was confused, like I was making something up. "But she was there yesterday," I insisted. "She told me about you." The teacher shook her head. "Mr. Callahan, I haven't seen Lily since last Friday." When I got home, Lily was sitting at the kitchen table, her backpack at her feet, her hands folded neatly, waiting. I dropped my keys, my chest tight. "Where have you been?" She tilted her head, eyes gleaming with something that wasn't light. "School," she said softly. But when she smiled, I saw them again. Those eyes, watching me, studying me, and for the first time, I realized the truth. My daughter had come home, but she hadn't come back alone.